What up, Winbush here, and today we're going to make a game mode called Stronghold. Now this is a cool mode where you can have a team go in and infiltrate a stronghold. Now the team will be able to go in either stealth or just go through guns blazing. We're going to have some cool systems set up, like have AI guards, enemy detection, have them guarding like certain paths, all the cool things that make a really engaging game. So sit back, relax, and let's jump right into it. Now, Epic Games just put out a template in which we're going to be following the documentation. So if you want to follow along, make sure you look down in the comments down below where I'll leave a link, because I'm going to be following this guide because it has some versus code in there that we can actually copy and paste in our game level, so we don't have to do any custom programming at all. And so in order to get started, we're inside of UEFN. We want to make sure we're on a blank project here, and we're just going to click create. Now, once you have your blank project in here, and the first thing I want to do is over here inside of my outliner, I'm going to go to outline settings, and we're going to switch some of these out. So for voice chat, we're going to leave it on team. And then for max players, I'm just going to do a team of 4. That's what's suggested, but you can have as many in there as you want. And then coming down here to where it says teams, instead of free for all, this is not a battle royale. We want to do cooperative so they could go through and infiltrate this palace together. Now for team size, we're going to make it 4. And then we're going to skip all these, and we're going to look for some spawning stuff down here. So let me scroll down to where it says spawn pad selection, and instead of random, we want to do near teammates, because we want the teammates to infiltrate the palace together, not be spread out all over the map. And then we're going to scroll down again to where we can see auto start, which will be right here. So I'm going to turn this off, but then for game start countdown, we're going to make this 3. So when we made the auto start false, we're telling the countdown we want to have a countdown at the top, so the game just doesn't start. We actually have a little countdown timer at the beginning to get everybody acclimated and ready to go. And then we're going to scroll down, and we're going to look for harvest style, which will be under user options, game settings here, until we see it right here. So as we said before, it's not a battle royale. We're going to put this in creative mode. And then for allow building, we probably want to put it on none. You can if you want to, but in my game, I don't want them building anything. I want them going along with the map I create. And then building can destroy environment. I'm going to click this on false. In environment damage, I'm going to put this on off. Structural damage, also put this on none, because we don't want them to be able to destroy any of the environment or any of the buildings in there. And now I think we're set for that. So now let's go down and look for some respawning tags here, in which respawn time, we want to put this up to 5. And then we're going to come down and let's look for jump fatigue, which we want to put this on. Now you can have this off if you want, but I don't want the characters to just be able to keep jumping. We want to put fatigue on there just to make the battles a little bit more interesting. But we're going to scroll down and look for some glider settings. So glider redeploy, we want to check this on for true. And then for our flight speed, instead of 3, we want to have it on 1, just in case you start maybe your map maybe on top of like a tall structure. You want them to kind of glide in, but you don't want them to fly across the map. We want to put this down to 1 just to slow them down a little bit. And now let's come under the game settings for like when the characters actually win. So we're going to keep scrolling down. It's going to be under the UI settings, in which timer direction, I'm going to leave it on countdown 1. For game winner display time, I'm actually going to leave this up for 3 seconds, but for the scoreboard, let's put this up for 15. Same thing for when they win the round. We'll keep that up for 3 seconds, and then the round display score, put this on 15. Now we want to have some stuff display inside the HUD, so we're going to come down here, look for the HUD info type, and now we're going to turn on the HUD info type, and we're just going to leave it turned on for AI enemy elimination. Then we're going to scroll down, look for map screen display, which we have here. Instead of scoreboard, we're going to do overview map. And then we're going to come down here to where it says game end callouts instead of win lose, because we're on a team. We're going to do cooperative. And then the last thing we're going to select right here is the victory sound. Now we have a whole plethora of different options here. I'm just going to do success 1, but for defeat sound and draw sound, I'm just going to leave this on the default, but feel free to change this to anything you want. Now, all these options are actually inside the official documentation. So again, I'm going to leave the link down below. Make sure you click on that, because if I went too fast, you can always have this reference that you could go back to. And now we're going to go on to section 2, where we're going to set up some verse coding for our leash. So if you look at the map that Epic actually put inside the documentation, this is an example of how everything's going to be working with the AI guards. But let's set up everything for our coding inside of verse. Now, what we want to look for now is the verse explorer, which will be over here. Actually, let me move over my details panel, and I'm going to drag out the verse explorer so we can see it a little bit better. Now, if you don't see this tab, all you have to do is come up here to the top where it says verse, under tools, and you would click on verse explorer, and that will bring this up for us. Now you'll notice right here, this is the actual name of our game level that we created when we started off our tutorial here. So what you want to do is right click on this, whatever you named it, and add new verse file to project. And once you have create verse script up right here, it's going to say device name, hello world device, in which I'm going to delete this, and we're going to name this one Stronghold underscore game underscore manager, just like that. And then down here at the bottom, I'm going to hit create empty. And now you see under content, we have a green plus symbol and it has the verse that we just created. So now I'm just going to double click on this. Now, if this is your first time doing anything with coding on your computer, it's going to ask you to install the Visual Studio Code, in which, again, you're going to need this to be able to code anything in verse. So I would suggest that you install it like so. So you would just go over and you're going to click on yes here, and then it's going to pop up with this installation guide right here, which everything is pretty straightforward. Just accept the agreement, hit next, and then you're just going to want to install it. I'm just going to leave it on default, hit next again. And then right here, I'm just going to leave everything at default. And once you're done installing everything, this is what should pop up here. Now this is where we're going to do the verses code, in which Epic just supplied for us. So if I go to the official documentation, I want to make sure I'm over here, set up Leash Devices under the Stronghold template. And this is going to be the verse code that we have. So I'm just going to actually just select everything in here. Make sure you have everything selected, and then I'm just going to copy it. And then back in Visual Code Studio, I'm actually just going to delete this. I'm going to hit Control V, and I'm just going to paste it in there. Now I'm going to come over to File. I'm going to click on Save, and then I'm just going to exit this out. And then after you do that, you're going to come up here to verse with this still selected, and we're going to build the verse code. So now with that built out, let me actually move this over here a little bit. I'm going to come down here to the content drawer, and I'm going to come down here, look for creative devices. And now you should see right here where it says Stronghold Leash Position. Now we're just going to left click and drag it into our viewport. And now you just officially built out your first leash device. So now that we have our leash device in there to hold the position, we also want to copy and paste it to make one for fallback as well. So inside of my viewport, I'm actually going to select this. Let's move it back a little bit. We don't want to have it quite so close to our spawn points right there. So let's move it out there a little bit, and then come back to my outliner, double click on it just to zoom it in. And then I'm going to scroll back a little bit, and I'm going to hold down the Alt key on my keyboard. I'm going to left click and just drag it over. And now we made a duplicate of it. So I'm going to go back to my outliner now. And now instead of this one called Stronghold Leash Position, I'm going to actually click on this, and I'm going to name this one Fallback. So this is where our AI is going to know to fall back to. So we can even have it back here a little bit. So this is the position that they want to hold, and this is where they're going to fall back to once the AI realizes it's getting overran. Now I'm going to select both of these like so. So I just held down the shift key. I have both of these selected. I'm going to go back to my details panel, and right here where it says visible in game, I'm actually going to make this false because we don't want to be able to see these once we're inside the game. Now let's get to the fun part and set up some enemy AIs, which is going to guard the stronghold. So back inside of UEFN, I'm going to come down here to my content drawer. I'm going to select all, and actually let me dock this in my panel here. So down here, I want to come to my search bar, and I'm just going to type in guard spawn like so. And then I'm just going to drag and drop it here into my scene and just set it down somewhere like so. And now let's say we're going to start off with the snipers, right? So maybe we want to have them a little bit further back, and maybe even let's bring in a shape for them to stand on. So I'm just going to bring in maybe just like a cube. And the cool thing is, let me select my guard, and right here under location, I could just right click, copy, and then select my cube, right click, paste, and now it's going to put it into that position. So if I come over, double click on my cube, now we're front and center with our cube here. So let's make this a little bit longer. Come back to my details panel. Actually, let me put this over to the side again so we can see both at once. Something like that, so I'm not clicking back and forth. So for my scale, let's make this cube something large, maybe like 5. Drag this up a little bit because these are snipers. Then I'm going to come over here inside of my outliner, look for my guard spawner, select this, drag it up like so, somewhere around there. And then instead of guard spawner, I'm just going to name this one guard spawner sniper tower like so. So guard spawner sniper tower, that's what this one's going to be called right here. And then I'm actually going to select both of these. So let me select my cube, in my spawner. I'm going to hold down the Alt key, left click and drag, because I want to have 2 snipers in here, 1 on each side. So maybe let's drag this to the complete opposite side, somewhere over there. So now we have 2 snipers inside of our map. So let me actually, before I do anything, I'm going to double click on my guard here, just move in a little bit so we can see a little bit better what's happening. And inside of my outliner, I'm just going to select both of these. So I'm doing it to both snipers at the same exact time. So to get started off inside the attributes panel for guard type, I'm just going to leave it as shadow, but you can see how you have different selections in here, how you can select these different types. But for this one, I'm going to make it the shadow. And for spawn count, I'm actually going to make it 1. So we have 1 sniper per spawn point here. Let me drag this over a little bit more so we can read this a little bit better. So spawn on patrol point path group, I'm going to leave this one at 0 for now, because I'm not going to have it go on the path. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But for my item list, I'm actually going to left click on this, drag this down, and then we're going to look for our gun. So with this selected right here under none, I'm going to type in rail, and that's going to bring up these rail guns, something like that. But it's up to you what you want to have your snipers have up there. So we have them with the rail gun right now, and we don't want to allow the infinite spawn, because once they're gone, we want to make sure that they're gone. So we're going to leave that with a total spawn limit of just 1, because once they come into the map and once you take them out, then they're completely gone, and we don't want them to come back after us. Now for the guard team option, I'm going to leave it on team index, and guard team index, I'm going to leave this at team index, and I'm actually going to make this one 2. So there's going to be 2 teams in here. Basically, it's going to be the guards versus the general public, which would be the players. And so if you wanted to have multiple teams in here, you could count the number up. But basically, like if you have 3, then that means that the AI might fight amongst themselves, depending on what team number they have on. So what I'm going to do for Stronghold is all the guards are going to be on team 2, and then all the players are going to be on team 1. And then we're going to leave on spawn on timer, but for the timer, we're going to have it at 0 because we want them to come in instantly. And then show spawn radius, we can actually turn this off, but actually let me leave this on for right now just so we can see what's going to happen right here with the radius. So instead of 10, I'm going to put this at like 2.5 because we want them to stay just on the guard tower here. And now I could turn this off so we don't see it anymore. In this right here, play spawn visual effect, you can leave it on if you want. I'm gonna turn it off just because when the characters come into the game, maybe we want to have the snipers be hidden and we don't want to see any visual effects revealing where they are. So starting health, I'm gonna leave it at 100, max health 100. I'm not going to have them with any shields though, but feel free to give them shields if you want to. You have those 2 settings right here for max shield and starting shield. But I'm going to show the health bar just so the player knows how much energy is left on the character. And then let's go down, look for visibility range, which is right here. Since they're snipers, maybe make it a little bit longer. So we're going to have it about 70. And then we're going to look for drop inventory on elimination. I'm actually going to turn this off. Again, this is going to be custom to how you want your gameplay. So if you want them to drop the railgun when they get taken out, feel free to do so. But I'm going to leave the players with the weapons that we select for them at the beginning. And then right here for accuracy, also, this is something that's going to pertain to how you want it to be, but I'm going to put it at very high because these are snipers. So now that we have our snipers all set and ready to go, now we're going to put some foot soldiers on the ground that are going to patrol the area for us. Now you could go back to the content drawer and search for an enemy spawner again, or you could just select the sniper that we just made. Make sure you hold down the Alt key, left click and drag to make a duplicate. And then I'm just going to put this one on the ground. So let's say somewhere around here. Let's drag them forward a little bit. Have them set up around the stronghold areas, somewhere around here. So let's put him a little bit closer to the ground. And then over here, instead of my outliner, let's actually name this one guard spawner. Instead of sniper tower, let's just do guard, like so. Instead of 1 guard, let's just say for tutorial sake, we want to put in 2 guards. So I'm actually going to hold down that Alt key, left click, select. Let's say we have a guard on this side as well. So I'm just going to put 2 guards in here for right now, but let's actually have both of these selected. And we already have them set up to what the snipers are, but let's set them up for individual guards. So let me scroll in here a little bit like so. So for guard type, maybe you want to have a different skin on here. Let's say maybe not a ghost, but maybe let's do a grotto, something like that. And then also for spawn count, again, maybe we do these ones at 2. So for each spawner, it's going to release 2 guards. So we're going to have 4 altogether. The only other thing I want to do right now is come right here under item list, come under index, and we're going to give them a different gun. So let's look for assault. I'm just going to give them an assault rifle for both of them, which we have right here. And then let's scroll down. We're going to keep them on the same team. So this is going to be team 2. But remember what I said before, if we make them team 3, then they would actually fight the snipers along with the players in the game as well. So we're going to keep them on the same team. Then for spawn radius, we're going to make it a little bit larger. So let me turn on my spawn radius, and let's say we want to have them around 18. So now you can see the perimeter that they're going to be guarding is a lot larger now. So I can actually turn this back off. Now play visual effects on the spawn. Maybe I'll turn it on for these ones so we can see where the guards are going to be at. Starting health, max health, leave everything on in here. And I think we're going to leave everything else the same except for maybe for accuracy. Maybe let's put it on high instead of very high. And then this is going to be up to you too. Visibility range. This is going to be how far they can see out before they detect you. So maybe let's put this down to 50 instead because they aren't snipers. Maybe their viewport is a little bit lower. So we're going to put this at around 50. And then max patrol distance. Maybe we have them patrol out a little bit larger, which would be 18. And now that we have these set, let's maybe select one of them. Let's scroll out a little bit. Hold down the Alt key. Left click. Let's drag it out. We're going to put this one way out to the side maybe because these are going to be the reinforcements. So right here, instead of my outliner, instead of guard spawner guard, I'm actually going to name this one reinforcements like so. So now we have a guard spawner reinforcements. So I'm going to double click on this, hold down the right click, W, just zoom in here a little bit. So we're a little bit closer here. Then maybe let's come back up here. Instead of guard type grotto, maybe let's make this one something different just so we can see it. So let's say we want to have it be this character right here. Spawn count, we can have 2 reinforcements in here. For a gun type, we can keep it as assault rifle, but maybe let's pick a different one. So I'm going to type in assault, this one right here, just to give it a little bit more variety in there. Looks a little bit different. Scroll down here, keep the team index at 2, have them all on the same team. Maybe the spawn radius, bring this down to 5. And then we're going to look for max patrol distance because we're going to make this one a lot larger because they're coming from a lot further away. So maybe 200 because reinforcements, maybe you have a building set up here on the side that they're going to be caught in from. They come scrolling out. So leave this really far away, and that's where the reinforcements are going to come into the main fight. Accuracy, maybe since they're reinforcements, we just put it at moderate. And I think that's going to do it for setting up our enemies. So we have reinforcements right here. We have some guard towers, and then we have some regular guards here that are guarding the stronghold. Now, the next thing we're going to set up is the tracker, which is going to have the display for the objective of the game and also keep track of all the guards that are eliminated during the gameplay. So I'm going to scroll this over a little bit here. Let me move this over, my details panel. I'm going to come down to my content drawer, make sure I have all selected. I'm just going to type in tracker. And we want this one right here. So we're just going to bring this in. Scroll it up here a little bit. Let's move this back because this doesn't have to be near a stronghold. Actually, this could just be anywhere on the map. So maybe we set up a area for all this display stuff and stuff that really doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be seen. So we're just going to have it in here. We could rotate it if we want, but again, this is only going to be for displaying stuff that's on the map there. There we go. So now we have a tracker inside of our game here, and now we're going to look through some of these attributes and set this up. So right here where it says stat to track, we're going to put it at a value of events, and this is going to determine which statistics will be used to track the value there. So this is important. And then maybe let's say the target value is going to be 6. We're going to leave the starting value at 0. Assign on game start, we're going to make this one false. And also assign when joining in progress, we're going to make this one false as well. And then right here where it says tracker title, this is where we're going to have the objective displayed at. So let's say eliminate. So that's going to be the tracker title, eliminate stronghold guards. And then right here under descriptive text, let's just put number of guards. And then we're going to scroll down, look for sharing. Instead of individual, it's going to be a team objective here. So these stats are going to be evolved with the entire team. And then let's look for winning team, which is right here. So we're going to come to team index, and this is going to be team index number 1. So team index 1, that's going to be our players. And remember, team index 2, that's going to be our guards and our snipers. Now, the next thing we're going to set up is the Hud Message Devices, which will alert us whenever the guards recognize we're in the area, and also will put up a display whenever they call for reinforcements. So coming back down here to my content drawer, let's look for, I'm going to delete tracker here. I'm going to type in Hud Message. And that should bring up this little item here, which I'm just going to drag and drop this into my scene as well. Double click. That's going to bring us in here, and we actually want to bring 2 of them in here. So I'm actually going to make sure I have this selected, hold down the Alt key, click and drag, and now we have 2 devices in here for our HUD message. So I'm going to select this first one here. Let me actually come through HUD message device. I'm just going to name this one HUD message device fallback, like so. Then I'm going to come through. Let's change out some of these attributes in here. So make sure you have it selected here. And then for your message, let's just say guards retreating. So guards retreating to the stronghold. And then we're going to click on our other one right here, our device. Let's change out the name for this one. So it's going to be HUD message device. Let's say reinforcements. And so make sure you have this one selected like so. And we're going to put our message in here, in which let's say we want to say detected exclamation point. So it's going to say message detected incoming reinforcements, and that's going to actually display up on our screen for us. Now the next thing we're going to bring up is the item granter device, and what this is going to do is going to allow us to have the player have all the items they need at the start. So this could be with guns and weapons they have, and even consumables if we want to give them something to heal themselves with. So I'm going to come down here to my content drawer. Let's look for item granter, and that's going to bring up this little pod looking thing here. So I'm just going to click and drag it into my scene. And again, it doesn't really matter where it's at inside of our scene here, just as long as it's in our scene. So make sure I have that selected. And over here in my outliner, let's just name this item granter players, because this is everything that's going to the players. And then we're going to come under here under our details panel, and let's start messing with these attributes. So on grant action, clear inventory, I'm actually going to put keep all, and this is going to allow our players to keep their inventory. And where it says grant, I'm going to have all items, and these are all the items that I'm going to set for the players to have at the beginning, and then give extra ammo because why not. And then under item list, this is where we're going to give the items to our players. So I'm going to select maybe 4 different items, and down here let's start off, maybe give them an assault rifle. So let's just give them an assault rifle, which is going to be index 0. This one, maybe let's give them a sniper rifle. Let's do the automatic sniper rifle, something like that. You could give them anything that you want in here. Let's look for maybe a SMG and just put a machine gun right there, SMG, and then maybe something to heal themselves with. So I'm just going to do a bandage, something right there. So I gave them 3 weapons and I gave them a bandage there. So that's going to be 4 items in all. And then scrolling down here, I'm going to do enable and start game, have it on. Receiving players, I'm going to do team index 1 because this is going to be the team that's going to be receiving the items. Grant condition always, grant on cycles, I'm just going to have this as true. Equip grant items, I'm going to put this on true. Items to grant, we have 4 items in there, so I'm just going to select 4. Cycle behavior, I'm going to leave this as stop. So if I scroll down here at the very bottom right here, grant on game start, you definitely want to make sure you have this selected so that the character has all the items. And I think I'm going to leave everything else as default. Now before proceeding on, I haven't saved in a while, so I'm going to come down here to content drawer, hit save all, because it's always a good and important to save it all, always, just in case something crashes. So we just set up our players with weapons and healing devices that they need to get started. Now we're going to set up a map indicator so they know exactly where the stronghold is at on their map. So down here under content drawer, I'm going to look for map indicator. So in my search bar, just type in map indicator. And I'm just going to left click and drag this into my scene here, like so. And as long as it's in here, this isn't going to be visible at all. We don't need to see it. So I'm just going to have this selected. Maybe we're looking at it, but it doesn't really matter because the only thing that matters is the attributes in here. So these are going to be the icons that show up on the map there. So you can have anything that you want in there. So let me type in T_UI_icon. We have a lot of different icons in here. So let's say maybe just for our stronghold, just for giggles here, maybe we just use this one right here, the hamster ball. And you want to use the one that says 64. So I'm going to come to the larger one right here. Let's just type in hamster just to take us there faster. And I want to use this one for 128. So for the smaller icon, we'll use 64. For the larger icon, we're going to use 128. And then for the icon color, let's select something maybe like red, somewhere around there. And for my text, I'm just going to name this one Stronghold, so they know exactly what it is on the map. Now, the last device we're going to add is called the in-game device. This is going to alert our players after they finish. So whether they were detected, undetected, or whatever happens at the end of the level, this is going to be the message that they receive. So coming down to my content drawer, let's select this and let's look for in-game device. And it's going to be this one right here. So I'm just going to click and drag it into my level here. Again, this doesn't matter where it's going to be. Maybe have it looking at camera here. Doesn't really matter as always. And we want to have 3 of these. Now hold down the Alt key, left click, drag. And then same thing again. Hold down the Alt key, left click, drag. And now I have 3 of these devices in here. So my first one that I have right here, I'm actually going to name it in-game device undetected. So right here, like so, instead of my outliner. And then I'm going to select this middle one right here. And I'm just going to name this one in-game device detected. And then for my last one, I'm just going to name this one in-game device fail, and that's for if they lost. So going back to my in-game device undetected, we're going to mess around with some of these attributes in here. So winning team, that's going to be activating team like so, and activating team is going to be any. They're already set up for team 1 here. And then for custom victory call out, let's do Stronghold was cleared like so, because this is going to be if they were undetected. And then right here for in-game callout, this is going to be cooperative because this is a team sport. So that's the only things that we're going to switch there. Now we're going to go over to detected. Same thing, winning team, activating team. Just going to leave this at any. Then I could come back here. Let me actually just copy this. And I'm going to paste it into my custom victory callout. And instead of undetected, I'm just going to put detected like so. Maybe even exclamation point there at the end. In-game callout, cooperative once again, and then leave everything else as is. Then I'm going to come over here to in-game device fail. Same thing, activating team. And then for my custom victory callout, I'm just going to put failed, all in capital letters, exclamation point like so. And then in-game callout, I'm just going to put as cooperative as I did for the others. And as always, come down here to the content drawer, come over to save all, save selected, and we're good to go. So now we're finally completed with setting up all our devices. In the next part, we're going to set up some verses. Again, we're just going to copy and paste it from the document to allow us to bring all this together. So with my tab key back over here, I want to bring up my verses tab. So I'm going to come up here to verse, come down here to verse explore. And now I have this back here. Now I'm realizing that I actually named this wrong. It shouldn't be Stronghold Game Manager. This one should be for the leash position. So I'm just going to actually rename this, right click, rename file. And I'm just going to name this one Leash Position like so. And this is going to say when you rename your verse file or module, verse devices continue to use the old verse path. So I just click OK. And then I'm going to have to go back and change some of these out a little bit. So let me actually look inside my viewport here. I'm going to select this one where it says Stronghold Leash Position. Select this, come over to my details panel. And I just want to make sure it says Stronghold Leash Position, which it does. Visible in game, turned off as it should be. And then for my inner and outer radius, I should actually set these up right now. So for my position, I'm just going to actually up this a little bit, make it 24, make this one 25. And then let me click on my fallback one, which is back here. And where it says leash inner radius, I'm just going to make this one 700 and this one 750. So I'm going to come back down here, the content drawer, save all, save selected, and we should be good now. So that wasn't too much, just had to go back and switch that out, and then also set my parameters for the radius. Now with this selected, I'm going to come back over here at the very top where it says Stronghold Tutorial. I'm going to right click, add new verse file to project. And now for this one, I'm going to name this one Stronghold underscore game underscore manager, as I shouldn't have the first time, but we just made good on that. So right now under create empty, I'm going to left click on this. Now we see this right here where we have Stronghold Game Manager. So you make sure that you have both of these in here, and right here where it says Stronghold Game Manager, I'm going to double click on it. And this should look very familiar to you. So we're going to actually put in the verses code that Epic Games supplied for us. So going back to the documentation, I'm right here under section 3 where it says add verse scripts to device. I'm actually going to select everything in here. Just scroll through, just left click and scroll on your mouse all the way to the bottom here. Make sure you have everything selected. I'm going to right click, copy. And then inside of here, I'm just going to delete this little script right there. Hold down Control, hit V, just paste everything in here. Come up to File, come over to Save. I'm going to exit this out. And then with this still selected, I'm going to come up here to verse, and then right here under build, I'm going to build verse code, left click on this. And now I can exit this out. And now if I come under here under my content drawer, I'm going to come under creative devices like so. And now we should have two selected right here. And so I'm going to do this one right here, the Stronghold underscore game manager. It's going to look just like these ones right here. So when I bring it in, it's going to be another device. So I'm just going to scroll up and I'm just going to separate this from the other two, because this is what we're going to use to customize all the gameplay. It has nothing to do with the strongholds over here. So this is another one that's not going to be visible in game. So I just have everything right here in this little pile here. You're not going to see it during a gameplay. So over here inside my details panel, let me actually move this over again. Drag this over, and where it says visible in game, we're going to start by selecting this off. And then let's make sure we have this selected, and let's come through and set some of the stuff here inside the attributes. So guards initial spawn right here, I'm going to click on this, add element. And actually let's add two more, because we want to have our guards, we want to have our snipers and our reinforcements. So I'm going to select this one, guard 1. So right here where it says guards initial spawners, I'm just going to select this 3 times. And right here, I'm going to have my guard 1, my guard 2. And then we're going to have our sniper tower. Let's add another one to sniper tower 2 as well. And then right here under guards reinforcement spawners, I'm going to left click on this. And let's just put in our reinforcement ones right here. Guard spawner reinforcements. Go left click, put that in there. And then right here where it says objective tracker, I'm going to left click on this. I'm going to select the tracker device that we just put in there. And then message device for reinforcements. I'm going to click this one where it says reinforcements, HUD message device reinforcements. And then this one for message device fallback. Again, come under here, HUD message device fallback, select that one right there. In-game victory undetected. I'm going to go to this one, in-game undetected. So you can kind of see the pattern that's happening, right? So detected, select detected right there. Fail game device, that one right there as well. Now this one is going to be how many times you want them to be able to retry before they're able to fail. So right now it's set at 2. Maybe we just set this to 5, give them a fighting chance. Then right here where it says reinforcement leash reference, I'm going to left click on this. We're going to do the fallback one. And then for the reference, we're going to do position. And then I think that's going to do it for us there. So I'm going to come back down here, just click save all, save selected, and we should be good to go, at least to test everything out here. So let's actually customize this before we move on a little bit. And so we didn't have these guards going along a path at all. And so let me come down here, content drawer, and type in path. And right here where it says AI patrol path, I'm just going to left click and drag this in here. And maybe we want to have them patrolling along some steps here. So let me come back down here, content drawer, and type in stairs. Maybe let's just look for maybe this one right here. So these set of stairs right here, let's say they're going to crawl upon these ones right here. So let's change this to like 90 degrees. Then I'm going to select this right here. This is going to be the start of our path. Move it maybe to the bottom of our steps here, somewhere around there. Let me actually move the steps ahead of the stronghold. There we go. So right here, we're going to have the guards maybe coming along this path right here. So let's have them start right here. And then this one right here, I'm going to hold down the Alt key, left click and drag it up top here. And now you can see the path that is actually going to be traveled. So I'm going to hold down the Alt key, drag again. You can see they're automatically connecting here. Hold down the Alt key, drag again, maybe have them come up the steps like so. And maybe let's have a platform for them. So let's just do something simple. Come over here to shapes, maybe just lay a cube in here. Let's make this cube like by 3. We can actually just customize it by hitting the scale tool somewhere around here. Okay, and now we can have them moving along this path as well. So I'm just holding down the Alt key. Maybe, so that's going to be the patrolling that they're doing, right? So we have them starting here, going here, up the steps, along this path and everything. And they're just going to collide with the collision here and everything that's already built in. So for a patrol group path, I'm just going to leave this at 1. And then right here, I'm going to select my guard here. And right here where it says spawn on control group path, I'm just going to select 1 for this one as well. And so this group of guards are actually going to walk along this path right here. So hopefully everything works out. One last time, we're just going to save all, and then we're just going to test our level here. And with our session launch, let's actually play this out and just see how everything works. Hopefully everything is going according to plan. And with my trusty Xbox controller, it's going to make it a lot easier to test this out, but feel free to push it to your console even maybe. I did a tutorial on how to get that going as well, so make sure you check that one out. But looks like the game's starting. Let's start playing. All right, so we're starting off. We're actually behind some stuff right now. You can see there's the reinforcement guy. He's running over to where the rest of the team is. Let me actually start off with the sniper rifle. Let me take this sniper out up here. He sees me. Maybe I have to fix that, but that's a part of gameplay, right? Like you want to go through. This is stuff that you're testing here, but we actually see, oh, he's sneaking up from that side. He's actually ducking. Pretty smart there. Let's take him out. There we go. So now I'm going to reload behind my obstacle here. The other guy just saw me. So let's see when he comes around the corner. Going to take him out like so. Hit reload there. We still have our sniper up there. He's still alerted. This guy right here. Let's take out this reinforcement. Now the last person that we have to take out would be our sniper. So looks like I could come over here. Bam, bam. Oh, he's coming after me, but just took him out right there. And I just defeated the stronghold. So I was detected. And you guys can see the bases that we're coming up with here. So hopefully you guys can see the foundation that's being built here, that you guys can make your own cool stronghold levels. And make sure you leave me some of your links down below. Give me some of your codes so I could try them out, because I'd be happy to try them out. Maybe even do some gameplay with you guys and just see what you guys come up with here. So once again, this is the basic foundation that we're building out to something bigger. So hopefully go through the documents, because there's a lot more there if you want to add like sound effects and cinematics, all that really cool stuff that's really going to amp it up and make it really something memorable for other people in the community to go ahead and try out. So if you're happy with this tutorial, hopefully it helped you out. Make sure you leave me a comment down below, subscribe if you're new, and until next time, stay fresh, keep building, and I'll catch you in the next one. I'll see you soon. Take care.